What's good, gang? It's Kelvin here for Boston's Food Lab, and today I'm going to be making an oven-baked barbecue chicken. And trust me, you're going to love this one. I'll be using a mixture of chicken legs and thighs, and today is a bit special. I'm going to take you through the whole process of how I clean and wash the chicken. Washing chicken isn't to everyone's liking. I hear a lot of people say, oh, but you're going to spread salmonella across your kitchen or across your sink. Or if you cook the chicken at a certain temperature, all the bacteria is going to die. But this is just to my liking. You don't know how the chicken's being handled in the food packaging places. And it's not just chicken, I do it with every meat I have, I wash. You can use either vinegar, lemon, lime. I always choose to use lemon and salt to wash my chicken, and you'll see the state of the water afterwards and you'll realise why I do it. Okay, so I filled my bowl with enough water, cold water, to just about cover the chicken. Now what I'm going to need is the juice of one lemon that I'll just slice in half. Squeeze the lemon in there. A generous amount of salt. Okay, and just give that mix around. Okay, so I'll leave this soaking now for about 20 minutes. I'll go and wash my hands and start preparing some more things. It's been about 20 minutes that I've had my chicken soaking in the water. And if you just have a look, I don't know if you can make it out here, but the state of the water in here. So it's got rid of all the slime and it's drawn out all the like bad blood. And it's, in my opinion anyway, makes it look a lot fresher. But while that's been doing anyway, I went ahead and chopped up a large white onion, one spring onion, about 5 bulbs of garlic, a few sprigs of thyme, and 1 scotch bonnet pepper, which was quite large. And as I like a little bit of a kick, I've left the seeds in there. But that's completely optional. If you want, you can take the seeds out, or leave the scotch bonnet out altogether if you can't take a bit of heat. But it does make a lovely difference to the chicken and gives it a really nice flavour. Okay, so our chicken's been washed and dried. I've got a whole array of seasonings. So I find, first of all, if you put a bit of oil on your chicken, I think it really helps the seasonings to travel through into the meat. So use any oil, vegetable oil, olive oil. My oil of choice is sesame oil. I like the flavour and I like the smell it gives the chicken. So just go in with that, that's nice. Okay, so with your non-salt based seasonings like paprika, garlic granules, black pepper, you can pretty much be as generous as you want with that. Okay, so we've got our smoked paprika, our garlic granules. These are thick pieces of chicken, so although it may look like a lot of seasonings, it's not. Once it cooks, all the flavours will render down and it's not going to be salty. As I say, with my salt-based seasonings, I'm not going to use that much. I don't really like using a lot of salt. And as you'll see in my cooking, I hardly do use salt. It's just in my seasonings. So that chicken seasoning, I've got aromat seasoning, which is like an all-purpose seasoning basically. I've got my black pepper, which is again non-salt based, so I'll be slightly generous with that. got garlic, ginger and pimento seasoning. Just a tiny bit. Okay. Got a good curry powder here. I like this one, Better Pack curry powder. It's a really strong flavour. Again, you're not cooking a curry. We're not doing chicken curry, so don't go overboard with it. But it's just to have a little kick in the background. So that will do. You don't want too much. I have some liquid Maggi, which is a salt-based seasoning again, so we won't put too much. And these are Maggi cubes, they're called. You may not be too familiar with them, but they are quite popular with African cuisines. We use these quite a lot. If I can get it opened. They pack them so tight, it's like, I don't know what, they don't want you to use them or something. There we go, that will just crumble. Two cubes of those. Once again, it does look like a lot of seasoning, but trust me, it's not. This is just right. I'm going to use gloves because I don't want the smell on my hands all day. I'm not against going in with my fingers, I often do that, but for today and the last couple of times I've been cooking, I've actually become accustomed to these gloves. They're a lifesaver, not a lifesaver, a game changer, so that's it. So I'm going in with both hands, get a good mix into your chicken. Again, remember I made the slits in the chicken, so I'm trying to make it work its way into the slits so it really gets through to the meat. This is chicken on the bone. So you want the seasoning to travel all the way through to the bone. You're smelling good already. Okay, now that's all seasoned up. We're going to go on to our fresh seasonings, our onions, spring onions, everything like that. So I'll grab those over. Go with our onions. Our spring onions, chopped garlic, my scotch bonnet pepper for the kick, and the colours just look amazing when you do this. Then a few sprigs of thyme with the stalks on as well. You can leave them in, it doesn't matter. Again, just give that another good mix in. And get the onions, the flavour of the onions and the peppers, the spring onions to really work its way into the meat. It really makes a big difference with your dry seasonings and your fresh seasonings. Cover the chicken in onions, let that sit, make sure it's all even. All the chicken's got a bit of the pepper rubbed into it, the scotch bonnet pepper, the garlic. This is going to be some of the tastiest chicken you've tasted, trust me. Okay, so now that's all seasoned up. We want to let that sit for at least 2 hours. Preferably it'll be overnight and the flavours the next day. I can't describe it to you, but I'm hungry, I want to eat today. So I'm just going to give this 2 hours in my fridge and we'll be back. Okay, so the chicken's just come out of the fridge. It's been in there for about 2 hours. And I've let it sit out at room temperature for about 15 minutes. Now we're going to season it with our barbecue sauces. I've gone for 3 different kinds of barbecue sauces. They're all barbecue sauce, but they all add their own little character. So I've got a jerk barbecue sauce, which is a little bit spicy, gives it a bit of a spice, but it's a lovely flavour. I've got a smoky and rich classic Heinz barbecue and a Kansas City style barbecue. So I'm gonna put some of all of it in. You can be generous with this, you really want to cover the chicken. Last but not least, the guy with all the character, the jerk barbecue. He's gonna make this dish. Now again, I definitely need my gloves for this. This is gonna get messy, but it has to be done. And just to think, before I got converted into gloves, I always used to do this with my hands and trying to turn the taps with your elbows because you didn't want to get the taps dirty to wash your hands. These gloves just make life so much easier. Okay, here we go. Okay, that doesn't need to stay too long. This chicken's already been seasoned. This is just the flavour on top, our sweet barbecue sauces. So I'm gonna just give this the time it takes my oven to heat up. I'm gonna heat the oven up. I normally say like gas mark 5 or 6, which is probably about, I don't know, 400 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. But yeah, I'll be covering mine in foil. Chicken's covered in foil now. I've packed in the sides nice and tightly so no moisture escapes. It's going to keep it in there, leaving the chicken nice and juicy. We'll keep it in the oven, as I said, gas mark 5 or 6 for 35 to 40 minutes. We'll open it up, baste it, and maybe leave it in for another 20 minutes or so. But the final bit of the cooking is going to be without the cover, so it can just dry up a bit, and we'll glaze it with some barbecue sauce. Okay, we'll put it in the middle shelf of the oven. And I'll see you again in about 40 minutes. Our chicken's been in for 40 minutes now, so it should have made a lot of its own juices. So we're just going to have a check on it and give it a basting. Yeah, it's just made so much of its own juice, it doesn't even really need basting, but we are going to remove a lot of this excess liquid when it comes to doing our sauce, so the chicken will end up drying up a bit more. We're going to leave that uncovered for a bit now, just so the sauce can thicken up. And our gravy, I've chopped up 1 red onion, 1 sweet pepper, red sweet pepper, and in a bowl I've transferred the stock that came from my chicken. Now my chicken is now completely drying out in the oven, and this stock is going to go for our gravy. I've got my pan heating up on a low fire. So now, you guessed it, I'm going to go in with my sesame oil. You don't need too much, just a little, just to fry the onions. So we'll let that heat up. Remember, once we see it smoking, then it's ready to go in with the onions. And sesame oil does heat up very quickly. There we go, it's heating up already. We can get our onions in there. Now you don't need any salt or anything in the onions. You've got a lot of seasoning in your stock. Onions are softening up. Now we can go with our sweet peppers. The peppers don't take long. Once they start softening up, then we can add our stock. Okay, my peppers have softened up sufficiently. Now we can go with our stock. A little bit more. Barbecue, a touch of tomato puree. Just give it a taste test, see if it needs anything. Perfect. Remember guys, every time you taste something in your sauce or your cooking, change the spoons. There's nothing worse than tasting it, putting it in your mouth and then putting it back in the sauce. So let's stay hygienic. Cover half on that. And just let that go on the lowest fire. Okay, so while our sauce is slowly simmering away, we're going to go and give our chicken another basting and then just coat it in some leftover barbecue sauce. Alright, let's see how we're doing. It's looking good. Let's give it a baste. You can be generous with this sauce, it'll give it a nice crisp at the end. Okay, we'll come back. Give that about 15-20 minutes and we should be ready to go. Our final product, barbecue baked chicken. It's looking so good I don't even know whether I should eat it. But you know what, I'm hungry, so I'm just going to plate up. And there we have it, gang. Quick and easy barbecue chicken. It's succulent, it's juicy, and it's going to taste so good. I can't wait. So if you want to see more recipes like this, again, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Okay, I'll see you next time.